Well, hello and welcome to our weekly look at Tiffin University Dragon football. Hi everybody, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head coach of the Tiffin University Dragons, who are on a 3-game winner right now, Mr. Red Ekkens. How are we doing, Coach?
Doing well. Excited to be here talking about our team this week.
A big win for the Dragons on the road. It's always tough to get a road win. It always feels good to get a road win. And a very unique place. I mean, Walsh facility's only been open a few years, but the uniqueness I'm talking about is where the locker rooms are compared to where the football field. Talk a little bit about that change, I guess, where you have to walk through a tunnel under the road to where the locker rooms are. Extends the halftime a little bit. Is it just, you have to adjust a little bit for all that?
I mean, each place that you play presents a different opportunity and a different a different issue at every different event or every different venue that you play at. So it really, you get there, you figure out how long the walk is from the locker room to the field, and you adjust all of your timelines based on that. So our kids liked the tunnel under the road. We were in that. Yeah, we were in that before the game, and we had some music playing, and they were fired up about it. So it really is something you try not to make a big deal, and you prepare the guys for, and you go and attack.
We were talking before we did the program about certain things you don't think about that goes into football games, and the amount of time it takes to walk through a tunnel to get to the field is one of those that you don't think about, but you make it happen and get ready for the games. The Dragons went on the road to Walsh to take on the Cavaliers, and Walsh took the opening drive down the field, aided by a couple Dragon penalties, but credit to them. They went right down the field and put points on the board. But I'll tell you what, your Dragons didn't flinch. But Walsh did a good job of scoring on their opening drive.
Yeah, they did, and we didn't come out with the right mindset, and that was the thing that we challenged ourselves with the next day. You're on the road and you could make a million excuses, but we're not about that. We don't make excuses. We work hard to prepare for the next opportunity, and that was something that we when we look back on it, we need to come out and we need to play better, especially on the road. You get off the bus, guys can be sleepy. We need to make sure we're ready to play, and we weren't. You're right. After that first drive, we snapped into it. It was great to see the offense come out and make that a 7-7 game and put it back to even.
Sometimes it just takes a little slap in the face from the other team doing something right to kind of get you wake up and get you in the right frame of mind. And the Dragons didn't waste much time answering that 7-0 scoring drive by Walsh. A penalty on your first play, and then your GMAC Offensive Player of the Week for the second time this year. Alex Johnson finds Ethan Holbrook, who had a huge game for you as well, and a big pass play.
Well, it's 1st and 15. Linkard will come near side. 2 receivers far side. Jalen Thomas out wide. Blackman will be on Alex Johnson's left hip. Thomas will motion. Alex has it. Pump fakes to the left. He'll roll to the right. Has Ronald there. Instead, he'll go deep down the field. He's got Holbrook by himself at the 45, 40, the 30. They ain't going to catch him. Touchdown, Dragons. Quick answer, Tiffin. This game's an extra point away from being knotted up. Not even 4 minutes in. Well, they forgot about Ethan. He made him pay for it.
78. Were you guys looking to go up top early on that drive?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to get the ball in the air, and I think the thing for us is we needed to respond. We played great team football the week before, and the defense really lifted the offense out of some situations in our previous game, and it was the offense's turn to lift the defense out of a situation this week, and that's what good teams do. They respond, and I know everybody on the sideline breathed a sigh of relief when we scored, and we were excited that Ethan had the day he had and Alex had the day that he had.
Yeah, Ethan had a couple plays where he was able to find a soft spot in that. I don't know if they were running a zone or whatever, or they forgot about Ethan. He had a few plays where he found a little spot, and Alex sure did hit him every time he found that spot.
Yeah, and the thing that we try to do is we try to spread the ball around, and Jalen Thomas has had a great year, and he's been our primary target at receiver, but we've got a lot of guys in that room that can play football, and we try to make teams defend the whole field.
We'll talk a lot about those guys when we look at some of the individual stuff here after we go through today's scoring plays. So the Dragons were tied at 7 at the end of the first quarter. Then your kicker, Ben Rudolph, who had a perfect day, extra points and field goals for you. A 22-yard field goal after a 10-play, 53-yard drive, taking 5:43 off the clock, and the Dragons had their first lead, which they wouldn't relinquish.
Ben Rudolph. Snap and hold, kicks on the way, and he splits the uprights, and the Dragons got their first lead. It's only 4 seconds into the quarter. We're going to keep it here. 10-7 Dragons, first lead.
Yeah, it was great to come away with points, and you always want to score a touchdown and not a field goal, but you take points when they're presented, and Ben did a great job on Saturday of being perfect, and that's what the PAT field goal unit it's searching for perfection. We want to go out. We expect to be perfect every week. And we prepare to be perfect, and that's kind of the nature of the job that Ben's in. Is when he goes out there, we expect him to make those kicks.
It's a whole team unit when you're doing those field goals, and it helps when you have a very experienced long snapper out there too to make sure that's the first job number one right there.
Yeah, Ryan Young's done a great job, and then JJ Bowman's come in and he's done a great job holding for us, and we really haven't skipped a beat.
Yeah, Dragons take a 10-7 lead, get the football back. Alex Johnson, a 1-yard run, little tush-push play there, and 13-play, 59-yard drive, 6:39 off the clock, and now the Dragons have a 10-point advantage in the second.
The way the Dragons are lined up, I imagine it's going to be a tush-push situation. Goal situation, up the middle. Anything, a signal, touchdown, Dragons in the end zone. Alex Johnson from a yard out, and the Dragons increase their lead to 16-7.
Yeah, it was good to get in the end zone there. It took us more attempts than we wanted to. Walsh did a great job. Those guys, they play hard, and we got down on the goal line, and we expect to score when we're inside the 2 on the first attempt. We didn't, but good job being resilient by our guys and getting in there in the end zone, specifically at that point in the game. And going up by another 7 points.
You know, Walsh definitely had some playmakers on the defensive side. We mentioned that Cam Hollowell the week before with all the tackles. It felt like about 3 plays I hear his name on the PA making plays. So credit Walsh as well. They did respond, and we talked. The Dragons have been really good about getting those points at the end of the half. But Walsh did it this week. So another reason for your Dragons to respond with a 17-14 lead going into half. You come out in the second half, and another young man who had a big day for you, Mr. Javier Wills, a 34-yard pass from Alex Johnson, 10 plays, 75 yards, 5:57 off the clock, and now the Dragons are back up by 10.
Yeah.
1st and 10. Alex looking left, down the sideline. And incomplete. It was caught. It was caught by Hav Wills, and he's going to get a pass interference on the defense on the same play. He had to reach around the defender. Defender never turned his head. He just face guarded, ran face to face with Hav Wills, and somehow Hav Wills making the play of the day so far.
Yeah, and that was the catch of the day, to be honest. There was a couple circus catches, but Hav caught the ball behind the defensive back's back.
I think everybody in the press box is looking. He reached around.
He reached around, and honestly, that ignited the entire sideline. And again, we've talked about this each week. What do you do coming out of half? Well, we challenged our offense to come out and put points on the board, and it was great. The second and third quarters, we occupied time of possession like crazy.
I got that in my notes.
To go down and score on the first possession there was big, and then the defense came out and they did their job, and offense went down and scored again. So those are the things, again, we talk a lot about at halftime, and we have a plan when we come out on the field after half, what we need to do to execute to get the game in position where we feel comfortable.
But your defense didn't score in the first 40 seconds of the half this week. What's going on? They've been very opportunistic, and the ends of the half, start of the half, been great for the Dragons here, especially in this last few week run that we've been on. And that play as well, there was a defensive pass interference thrown on that play too, in which he still caught the ball. It's just amazing stuff. So you mentioned the other one, another score happened. Another young man who's getting back in the fold. It seems like he's getting healthier and more used to everything and accustomed to stuff. Will Linkart, another touchdown pass from Alex Johnson, this time a 10-yarder. Another nice long drive, 13 plays, 74 yards, 7:15 off the clock, and at the end of 3, Dragons a 31-14 lead.
Yeah.
These long drives by Tiffin seem to have subdued the hometown crowd a little bit. Second down play, Alex fakes a handoff. Looking towards the back of the end zone, caught, and it's a touchdown. Will Jackson Linkart. The Dragons add on. It's now a 30-14 lead, an extra point away from a 17-point advantage.
Yeah, again, anytime you find the end zone after a long drive like that, you're excited. You occupy clock time, and then Will having the response that he's had this season to some injuries there early and in fall camp and early in the season. It's been great to see him continue to develop his role as a guy that we expected to have a big year. He's really stepped up, and he's coming into his own.
Well, one of the young men we mentioned earlier put the cap on the Dragons scoring in the fourth quarter. Ethan Holbrook, his second touchdown of the day, 22-yarder from Alex Johnson.
This today. Halfway through the final quarter. Second and a yard, no reason to be in a hurry. Three receivers. Hacker, the lone receiver to the left. Fake handoff. Alex, straight back. He's got a middle of the field. He's got a wide open Ethan Holbrook. That's another Dragon touchdown. Boy, they forgot about Ethan. They've done that a couple times today. And the Dragons make him pay for it. It's all Tiffin now. 37-14 with the extra point coming.
4 touchdown passes for Alex and a rushing touchdown on Saturday. That's what earned him right there the GMAC Player of the Week. And let's not forget 400 yards of passing as well. But the final Dragon drive, 4 plays, 88 yards, just 2:18 off the clock. 38-14 lead, and Walsh tacks one on at the end of the game to make it 38-21. But a nice resounding victory for the Dragons. It's never easy to go on the road, especially in conference play, and you'll take it. Like you said, your Dragons woke up after that opening drive and pretty much handled the football game from there.
Yeah, we don't take any wins for granted, and each game has its storyline of its own. And this week it was great to see the offense come out and lift us up, and then the defense being resilient. You know, they gave up that first drive, and I wasn't, and our staff wasn't very fired up about how we came out, and they really responded well. And I think the guys understand the importance of that, and we talked a lot about that on Sunday again, as we know we've got some road games here in our last 4 games.
Yeah, some interesting scores here like the last couple of weeks. The trip to Kentucky Wesleyan in a couple of weeks is going to be an interesting one. They got a big win, but this week it's Lake Gary. But prior, let's take a look back at some of the individual numbers. Alex was 27 of 36. 403, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. How proud were you of that young man in his play on Saturday?
I was really proud of him. And I think, there's highs and lows in each season, and he didn't feel great about the way he played the week before. And he went out and practiced, had a great week of practice, and as did everybody. It's not just the guy throwing the ball
right.
that earns it. Our offensive line protected well all day, and our receivers got open, and it takes everybody to be able to score points. So I was really happy with the way that the offense responded, and then we talked about our defense. They play hard, and Walsh, credit to them, they've got a great offense. Our defense went out and played resilient football.
You keep beating me to my next question. I was going to say Alex can't have those numbers like that without the play of the guys up front, the offensive line doing the job. And the defensive from Walsh, really, they made it hard for Ronald Blackman ended up with 22 carries for 95 yards, and they made it hard for him on the day. But man, when he needed to get the yards for you, he got them for you.
Yeah, they did. They had a good plan, and again, you've got to. With our offense, we want to make you have to choose. Do you want to stop the run, or do you want to try to stop the pass? And Walsh loaded the box, and they did a good job tackling. They didn't let us get too many explosive opportunities in the run game, and they took that phase of the game away from us, and then we took what they gave us in the pass game. So right. There's some give and take there, and credit to our staff too on finding the opportunities to call the plays for our kids to go out and execute.
Yeah, which athlete do you want to take away? There's so many of them out there in the Dragon Green and Gold. It's kind of fun to see other guys get to pick up. Even Keaton on him, he still ends up at 95 yards. That's fantastic. Through the air, Ethan Holbrook, 4 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. We'll mention Ethan again here in a moment. Javier Wills, 5 for 107 with a touchdown. And then you got Jalen, still a productive day. Normally his name's at the top, still at 4 grabs for 66. Will, 6 for 54. Joey Zalewski making plays. And a young man, Trent Hacker, has been raking his way back into play time.
Yeah, it's been good. Again, we want to spread the football around. Anytime that you're one-dimensional, you make yourself easier to be defended. So for us, it helps in that room being able to spread the ball around, and guys get opportunities. And it was a lot of fun seeing not just one guy make a bunch of plays. Hav had that great catch. Joey Zalewski had a toe touch catch as well. And it is a lot of fun when the guys can celebrate with one another the success across the board.
I was going to mention Ethan again. It feels like he's getting very comfortable back there returning kicks more and so every week. He had 4 of them last week, total of 52 yards. And whenever he gets at 10 yards, I say that's what Coach wants. He wants that first down off that return. But talk a little bit about what Ethan's brought to you in the return game.
Yeah, Ethan's done a great job with the punt returns, and Spikes has done a great job with our kick returns. But the thing that Ethan does well is he's able to get vertical and put some stress on the punt unit from the other team, and that's what we want. Our goal on every punt, if we don't fair catch it, if we're punt returning, we want to get the first down, which is 10 yards. And that's a great goal to have, and he did that on Saturday. He's done a good job of that. I would think that teams are watching and they're going to want to defend that.
Absolutely. Look at some of the team numbers for the game on Saturday. A lot of numbers very similar. Tiffin ran 3 more plays than Walsh. Walsh had 3 more first downs than Dragons. Net yards rushing very similar. But it all comes down to is the passing game. Like you said, they wanted to concentrate on keeping Ronald Blackman from hurting him, and Alex and his receiving corps did a great job of stepping up. And you mentioned the time of possession. You were plus 18 minutes in the second and third quarter. That share was right there. Those 2 quarters were where the Dragons really took control of that football game.
Yeah, and that's not something that you can really plan out, but as the game was going, our defensive coordinator, James Daniels, came over to me. He said, we haven't been on the field in a while, and that's always a good thing. He was excited that we were able to get some rest there, and again, we want to play good team football, and that's part of it, being able to go on a long drive and then be successful through that. Nothing worse than going on a long drive and not coming away with points.
Right. Well, you look at third downs, and that's a big component of the ball game too. Dragons go 9 of 14, hold them to 4 of 11 on the other side, and Dragons were having some trouble earlier in the year in the red zone. Very productive this past Saturday in the red zone.
Yeah, we were productive in the red zone and third downs. We talk a lot about third down efficiency in here, and I think the thing that we want to do anytime that we're in third down is obviously convert, and being 9 for 13 or 14 on the day. That's a good day for us.
Absolutely.
And then on the flip side, our defense has been good on third down and taking away opportunities from the other team.
And a big key to that is being good on first and second down, keeping them in third and long, not third and 1 or 2. Third and 7 is a lot different than third and 2. That's
absolutely
for sure. Well, this week the Dragons will bring in Lake Erie, one of 2 home games left. 7 games in, only 4 games left. 2 on the road at Kentucky Wesleyan and at Hillsdale. But this week it'll be Lake Erie. It kind of seems, Coach, when you look at the GMAC for the scores for the week, boy, Ashland, Finley, Tiffin, starting to separate themselves a little bit here. Ashland will be at Northwood, or home to Northwood. Finley will be at Thomas More. But you look at Lake Erie, sitting 8th in the conference. They were up 10-zip on Hillsdale this week, 10-7 at the half, and ended up falling 28-10. But the previous week went to Kentucky Wesleyan and got a 29-23 win for their first conference road win. And you look at something like Kentucky Wesleyan went on the road and won at Northwood. So explain all that to me.
Yeah, we're mostly concerned with the game that's at hand, and we've watched a lot of film on Lake Erie College, and they've done a good job. Specifically in the last 2 weeks, I thought they played well at Hillsdale and outplayed Hillsdale at times, and I thought that they did a great job in there. Win at Kentucky Wesleyan, coming back and putting a lot of points on them in the fourth quarter. So we've studied them hard. They have playmakers. They have playmakers on both sides of the ball, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have a great plan. Just like always, we're focused on us and what we need to do to take that next step. So we've talked a lot about that. We've had a good week of practice so far, and our focus at this point until Saturday is to be as prepared as we possibly can be.
How often do you see a game like their game against Hillsdale last week? Both teams exact same number of total yards, 302 to 302. That don't happen very often.
Not many.
And you look rushing yards. That was a difference in the game with their game against Hillsdale. Hillsdale's ability to rush the young ball. They only threw the ball 14 times in that game. But you look at Lake Erie, their quarterback, Alec Lewis, Joel Thread. He can throw the ball in. He can run the football.
Yeah, and they've played 2 quarterbacks for throughout the year, and we've got to be able to defend both of them. So the thing that we're going to do is whoever's out on the field, we've got to do a great job of again playing our game and stopping the run. That's the first thing that we've got to do, and then defending the ball when it's in the air. So our goals and our expectations and standards don't really change, but we've got to have a great plan for what they're going to do offensively.
There's some talented skill players out in the wideout positions as well, and then the running back Chris Riley Richardson handles most of the ball carriers. And on the defensive side, number 3, I think his name is Marion Perkins, I believe. He's a real playmaker on that team, one of the leading tacklers in the conference.
Yeah, as you look at the stats, they've got 2 receivers that are some of the top receivers in the conference, and they've got a couple guys that are in the top 10 for tackles in the conference. So we're gonna have a great game on Saturday, and there's gonna be good athletes on both sides of the ball and in every phase. So we're excited to play Lake Erie College, and we know that they're gonna come in here charged up and ready.
Ronald Blackman, 2nd in the conference rushing yards a game, as well as scoring, and then Ben Rudolph, 4th in the conference now in scoring per game. That's pretty cool to see. That means your Dragons are getting in scoring opportunities when your kicker's up there putting on point. Even if he's just making extra points, you get 5 of those a week. That adds up pretty quick. And then Jalen Thomas leading receptions per game. Alex Johnson leading the conference in pass efficiency, but the Alec Lewis we just spoke of, he's 3rd in the conference, so he at least is taking care of the football as well when you look at some of his numbers. Justin Wimpy tied for the league lead in interceptions. Chucky Lewis comes in at second. When you look at the total team numbers in the conference, now the Dragons at first in total offense and total defense. Lake Erie coming in at 9th in offense and 10th in defense. And offensive efficiency, Dragons 1, Lake Erie 6. So offensively, the numbers are continuing to show improvement from your Dragons, as now you got both of those offense and defense numbers towards the top of the conference.
Yeah, our goal every week, we look at it as a staff and it's not the thing that tells you what you need to improve upon. But one of my jobs is to look over those things and make sure that we're playing balanced football and make sure that we're playing well. But we're not really concerned as a team. Our guys aren't super concerned about statistics, which is great. They just want to go out and play great football.
There's one statistic, the one under the W, that they really
that's the one that's the one we're concerned with. But we're a process-oriented team, and we come in on Sunday, and it's we talk about the fact that we won or lost, and thankfully it's been wins the last 3 weeks. But we talk briefly about that, and then it goes completely into process mode. We are talking about how we can get better, and our entire program is set up to just improve week in and week out, and that's what we're focused on doing. And then at the end of the season, the stats will be what they are. For us, it's doing everything that we can to prepare to win.
Your first year as head football coach here at Tiffin University, your first year as a head football coach, talk a little bit about some of the things you've learned about yourself here over the first 7 weeks.
It's been
time?
It's been a learning experience, that's for sure. And I think just the challenges in it have been continuing to be as consistent as we can as a team and preparing our team week in and week out. And I think expectations are the key to that. When you paint clear expectations for the team and what they need to do and how we need to practice, it makes it easier for them to achieve those things. And the same goes for our staff. We've worked really hard to work well together, and that's something we communicate well. And certainly we spend a lot of time after every game talking through our operation and how we can be better and more consistent for our players. So there's been a lot of learning that's occurred through that. How do we operate as a staff and as a team, game in and game out, and how can we be more consistent, and how can our process improve? It starts with our coaching staff, and then everything trickles down through our players. So if we want them to achieve, we need to set clear expectations, and that's something that honestly it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of work on the front end of it. But it's been really cool to see our team step up and be consistent in practice. And yesterday was a great example of that. We had special teams individual, and our scout guys were competing like crazy against our starting units, and it's a lot of fun to see that in week 8 of our season.
It was a little while ago when the kids reported here, but I bet from that time to week 7, that time's probably flown by for you, hasn't it?
I can't believe how fast it's gone by, and my role's a little different than it was as an offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, but it's been a lot of fun, and that's one of the things our staff enjoys time together, and our team enjoys time together.
That's huge. Yeah, you learn a lot about your staff. Not more than you knew about them before when you spend this much time with them, but it's really cool to see, and you can see the growth of the team, the growth of the staff, and growth of you as well. It's really cool stuff. So thanks for answering those questions.
For sure.
So all right, Coach. This weekend, folks coming in. I got 2 more times to see the Dragons at Frost Countdown Stadium. Give us a few words what they're going to see from your kids.
I know this may be boring. It's the same stuff every week, but
it's a winning formula.
You're going to see us go out and we're going to compete like crazy. And the theme's been for the last few weeks is us versus us. We've got to prepare well, and then we've got to go out. We've got to play with that energy, effort, and enthusiasm on Saturday, and that's the thing you're going to see. We're going to be motivated to have a great day on both sides of the ball. You're going to see us work to be consistent and explosive on offense, and on defense, you're going to see us fly around and try to stop the run and then defend through the air, but you're going to see us fly around. And then on special teams, it's about executing the purpose of each unit. So we did that last week. We felt great about that. That was the building block for this week moving forward, but that's what you're going to see in all 3 phases from us.
Noon kickoff at Frost Countdown Stadium. We'll have your pregame show, the replay of the audio of this about 11. We'll join up with the TU Dragon Football Radio Network about 11:30, and all the video will be live for you at the Great Midwest Digital Network. All right, Coach, let's get back to it next week and hopefully talk about another Dragon win.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right, this has